once again, and welcome to the Haven Financial Group radio show. Thanks for listening. Feel free to give us a call, 612-504-8400, or visit us online at havenfinancialgroup.com. It was good having Glenn in that first segment, and I think the takeaway from that first segment should be max out that HSA if you possibly can. You're going to like having that later on in life, so max out that HSA. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Maybe it's time to not keep putting off the long-term care conversation that none of us want to have. Maybe your plan is the kids are going to take care of you at that point. And my joke is they don't even come visit you now. So I don't think that's going to work so well. There's much better viable options than there used to be. And, you know, it's Medicare. It's more than just coming up with a plan. It's a strategy, as you and I talk about, that aligns with all of your goals, your healthcare needs, the financial goals, your retirement goals. That's what the overall plan is. How are you going to pay for the long-term care? Again, having a partner that can talk through all of these different areas of retirement, it can go a long way. And again, you don't have to do it alone.
Sure, absolutely. And let's just remind everybody of the number. It's 612-504-8400. If you hear anything this morning, or if you've just got questions that you'd like to pose to the folks at Haven Financial Group, give them a call and set up an appointment. We want to talk about healthy living and how it saves money. You know, Larry, I think everybody thinks, well, I want to live healthy because I want to live a long life. But living healthy, yes, might help you in your longevity, but it might also help you live a better life because you will have saved money that you're not spending maybe on some of these long-term care facilities or a lot of health care.
Yeah, you know, this is interesting. We're having this conversation on the show today because my wife, as you know, is the office manager at Haven Financial Group, you know, celebrating our 10-year anniversary. And we've always been very big into education. You know, the educational classes, and she actually booked a national speaker, Dr. Mark Milstein, a renowned speaker who's got a book out, The Age-Proof Brain. He'll be with us on February 16th at the Ames Center in Burnsville, Minnesota. From 2 o'clock, he'll have a book signing, and 3 o'clock, he'll be speaking on, again, the wellness, health and wealth, and the relationship between health and wealth. He's a great speaker. It's a great book. I encourage folks to come on out. Again, there's such an interlink between health and wellness and financial success. And it's so important that, again, we have booked him for February 16th. Again, Mark Milstein. If the book is The Age-Proof Brain. So it's fitting we're talking about this today. Sure,
absolutely. That sounds like a wonderful opportunity for anybody who's listening. Be sure that you check that out. Let's talk a little bit about this. You know, the idea that the first thing you don't want when you're in retirement age, if you're trying to save money, is some kind of chronic illness.
Right. I mean, timing's everything. The element of time, and life doesn't always certainly cooperate with our calendar. So we want to do whatever we possibly can. And, you know, his book really gives some valuable insights into discovering the secrets of a healthier and more resilient brain, enhancing overall quality of life, and allowing clients to enjoy their financial security that we at Haven, or somewhere, hopefully, you have a partner that has created this plan for you. So, again, just a little bit of insight into what he talks about.
Well, let's take a look at, I'm sure one of the things that he talks about, and we want to talk about, you know, the dollars behind this is as we approach, and we hope that this happens prior to getting to retirement age, but I hope that anyone out there who is a smoker who is approaching retirement age will consider the idea of quitting smoking, which I recognize is not an easy thing to do, but some really wild statistics, Larry, associated with what smoking costs the nation each year. And one can only imagine what that's costing a retiree.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the statistic is staggering. Smoking-related illnesses cost the U.S. over $300 billion each year. So again, I understand the difficulty of maybe quitting. I was in the local BP actually because I've never been a smoker, but so I'm kind of been far removed from this. And a guy in front of me checked out. I didn't realize cigarettes were like $8 to $10 a pack.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that either, but that's
$8
shocking.
to $10 a pack, man.
Yeah.
That really does something for the financial budget. But I had no idea. But again, that's a big one. other ones too. It seemed it's really fundamental, and we don't want to talk about it. But now we are we just had Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
so I'm sure we all ate really healthy. Correct? We'll just go with that. But healthy eating goes a long ways. Is one of the most cost-effective medical strategies. The fruits and vegetables, all this stuff. And I'll actually personalize this a little bit. As I'm 56. Listeners probably didn't know that. And at 50, if at 56, I've been on a kind of a 2-year journey myself, where I really probably shouldn't eat a whole pizza at 9 o'clock at night. I mentioned that we are cookie snobs at Haven Financial Group. For 10 years, 5 days a week, I've been staring at fresh, really, really good cookies. So maybe I shouldn't be having as many as I've had. So been on a journey, obviously, myself and my wife, and these things are important because at any age, but as you especially prepare for retirement, getting the physical activity, anything we possibly can do to minimize or lower the chances of having healthcare issues.
Yeah,
Again,
absolutely.
good sleep. I need my 8 hours of sleep.
You bet.
Sorry, I need it. I think
Yeah.
President Trump only needs 3 or 4, and I don't know how he does it, but I need my 8 hours.
Yeah, yeah, I understand exactly. And lots of physical activity. I think it's great for one's brain, but it is also good for staving off, all kinds of diseases. And again, as we were talking about this as it relates to retirement, first off, you want a happy retirement, and so happy retirement means your health is good, but you also want a retirement that's prosperous for whatever it is that you'd like to do. And so the whole idea here is that you want to just use some common sense, live a healthy life so that you're not spending those dollars on things that are going to cost you more money, like healthcare, and medications. Maybe you'd rather spend that money in a gym, right? So that maybe you're just feeling better.
Yeah, and when Glenn and Isabella help people with Medicare, there's some of those plans that have gym memberships.
Sure.
Preventive care.
Hmm.
It's 2025. Why not do the best you can for preventive care, which can potentially reduce long-term costs of bad health care? Regular checkups,
Hmm.
regular screenings, the immunizations that maybe that you should have. They can prevent serious health issues. And I mean, again, not avoid altogether, but we want to minimize, some of these chances, and if avoiding them can cost the treatments can be very expensive later on in life. Getting enough hydration. Every time I go to my doctor or chiropractor, you drink enough water. Get up and move around a little bit, even if you have a job during the day that's sitting at a desk on a computer. Just taking a little bit of time. It doesn't have to be a lot of time to get some movement.
Hmm.
All of these things. I like a good glass of wine, but for some, maybe reducing alcohol. Maybe that's the deal, because a lot of times that has a lot of calories in it as well. So
Sure.
mental. I bring this up because mental disease is real.
Hmm.
We lost a really close business friend in the industry, unbeknownst to us, because mental health. He ran into some serious mental health issues. You got
Sure.
to address the issues and not just let them go by the wayside. So,
Absolutely.
again, not all this stuff is fun, but it's really putting yourself in the best position. It takes discipline.
It does.
It
Right.
takes discipline, and it doesn't come easy. At least for most people, it doesn't come easy.
Well,
Um, yes.
a lot of people who are listening to, I think, have that ability to be disciplined because they've been disciplined enough most of their life to save and to prepare and to get ready for a retirement. Now you just want to enhance those years by taking care of yourself. A lot of studies show that healthy habits, spending, it turns out that your spending is less because you have healthy habits. So it's something that you really want to take into account as you approach those retirement years. And it all seems simplistic. I realize that, Larry, but it is taking a moment to just sort of point it out. I think is a good thing for folks. Just a quick reminder, especially during these holidays, as we're all kind of like you said, maybe splurging just a little. We can splurge right now. Maybe we could just start in the beginning of the year, right, Larry?
Sure, of course. Now, and I'll segue this, the discipline of the health stuff and all that kind of stuff we've been talking about, but it also segues into the discipline of the financial strategies
Sure.
and the products that are out on the market. And and looking at all the different options and having a good partner. I've said this before that some years ago, every year, we like to do events, client events. And we have an annual shred event after tax season. We have it in our parking lot. We have the veteran shred truck, and people can have lunch or dinner on us, et cetera. And I remember the first time we had it, people, it was right after COVID. People could drive through, shred all they wanted. And there was this observation by the younger folks in my office. Wow, those clients that actually had the most and were most prepared for retirement, they drove some of the least nice looking cars. And those that are clients that didn't have as much say for retirement, they seem to have the fanciest vehicles. So it was an observation. So finances, like health, takes discipline.
Yeah.
And discipline for many human beings, the human nature, it's tough to achieve, but I think you can get there.
Absolutely, you can. Are you looking for a partner? Are you getting close to that time and you need a portfolio? You need a plan? Give the folks at Haven Financial Group a call, 612-504-8400. Call them, stop by, get some great coffee, a good homemade cookie, and chat about what it is that you'd like to achieve in retirement. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about adjusting your lifestyle when you get to retirement. What glitters is not always gold. There are things that you need to do to make sure that it's the experience that you want it to be. So we'll talk about that on the other side of the break. This is the Haven Financial Group Radio Show.